Alright, so we built a modular set, we UV unwrapped it, we also additionally UV unwrapped it to have a unique light set. So this next set of notes I have here, this tutorial, is going to be about creating collision. Now, inside of game engines, there's usually a way to generate collision, whether it's very simple box collision to be more of a detailed shrink-wrapped collision. What game engines still struggle with, though, is collision for an object that you're going to pass through. If we're going to go through something, but we still need to collide with its surface, like a modular corridor set, we're going to need to go ahead and build our own collision geometry. So I'm going to come here to create and to box. And under keyboard entry, I'm going to make myself another box. So this time I'm going to set it to -20 in height and say create. So here I have this piece of geometry. I'm going to go here to modify. I'm going to select my object and copy its name. And now this guy here, I'm going to name UCX underscore the name of my model. What will happen now is when I import this model again, it's going to recognize that UCX underscore to be collision. Of course, before I do that, I need to reposition it. So I put an FFD on, grab the control points. I'm just going to move these over. Same way to match the volume. So 400 at the top, 0 at the bottom. Okay, so now I do have more sides. So what I need to do is I'm going to right click on this object and say clone as a copy. And I'm going to change the name to be UCX underscore, the name of the model, and then an underscore 1 for the second piece. So once again, I'll just go into my control points. I'm going to region select here. Just drag these up, grab the side, and just drag them over. I can raise this up so they're not intersecting, although it's really not important if you do or don't, right? So it's fine if they intersect with each other. The important thing is that their origin is always sitting in the exact same place as the model so that they're relative to each other. So I can take this piece here, and mine aren't changing colors, and if I click here, that's because assign random colors did not choose a different color, but you could see that each of my collision pieces is a different mesh. So I can, once again, clone it as a copy, and this one I'll just call underscore 2, grab my control points, and just move this over. Right. Same thing for the bottom. Clone, reference, and this will be, if I have 0, 1, 2, this will be 3, but I want to make it a copy. There we go. Grab the control points and just drag those up. And so that's the process for creating your collision geometry. It ends up being these individual pieces. If I was to attach all these pieces, if they were to all be one mesh instead of being unique ones, then Unreal or Unity or whichever engine we bring them into would see them just as one model and just give it one solid piece of collision. But this way, when I import the model, I'll be able to walk on this surface here, this box. I won't be able to pass this one, won't be able to pass this one, I won't be able to jump out over the top of it. So save this. So you will continue going through this process for every one of your pieces. So if I unhide by name, let's unhide our corner. I'm going to hide unselected. So if I take my corner and I'm going to copy its name, I'm going to take this straight piece and I'm going to clone it as a copy as my corner. And before I do anything, I'm going to go to select by name and make sure I take the straight piece and I hide that. Okay, so now I have my corner. It's the same process. I'm going to clone it as a copy, and this will be corner underscore 1. Same thing, go into the sub object and just raise these up. And I just start building my basic collision around here. Again, this will be underscore 2. So I can move this over to the side and raise it up. The character has what's called a pill collision. right? I'm going to assume that you're working a lot of action games, I should say, action adventure games utilize what's called a pill collision. So, say for example, you're working in Unreal 4 and you use the third person template. What you would have then is you would have this character with a pill collision. And that means that you really don't need to be super precise. You don't need to put collision in for these little corner trim pieces. The character's not going to visibly go through them because they have this volume around them. So let's say I'm at 0, 1, 2. So this would be 3. And I'm just going to take these points, move them back. And so then I just need to do it one more time. I hit Control V this time. First color 4. Grab my control points, move them over, and just drag this whole thing down. So it fits right in there. And there we go. That's our basic collision for our pieces. If we wanted to see them with different colors, we could go through and just look at them right here. You see that they're not one mesh, they're all separate pieces of geometry, right? Each one, and they're combined by the engine to be the to be the collision for this model when it's brought into the game engine. So there you go. I'm not going to go through and do all of my pieces in this tutorial. You do need to go through, and you're going to need to do this for any object that you pass through. Okay? So we'll stop this here. Go ahead and finish collision for your pieces, and then once you're done, you take everything and do File, Export Selected, and just save over your previous hull piece and import it into your game engine. So I might recommend that before you go through and create collision for every single piece, maybe you build it from one and try importing that just to verify that it actually works and comes in correctly.